So once again, good evening, dear leaders, dear partners. We are here all today again for our regular online training session within the regional project. And today it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the second lesson of the first course, Business Mastery Academy 2026, led by Gediminas Grinevicius. This online training academy is designed to elevate TIENS partners' communication, leadership, and influence skills. And today's lesson is dedicated to communication skills and storytelling, which is very, very important nowadays. And to begin this lesson, I'm inviting the course creator, certified business coach, psychologist, author, NLP practitioner, and our training friend, Gediminas Grinevicius. Hello, good evening, Gediminas. These are my
Hi,
stages.
thank you so much, Katerina. Thank you, everybody who are here. Welcome, welcome. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now with you guys. Perfect. Terrific. Okay, so like Katerina said, this is a very, very important lesson because we're going to be talking today about communication skills and storytelling. And if you think about it, our whole business is communication business. When you want to sell your product, you have to use your communication skills. When you want to recruit somebody into your team, you have to use your communication skills. You want to create some content for social media, maybe a video or a text, you have to use your communication skills, right? So the whole business, even when you're talking to your existing customers or you're working with your team, you are always in communication. This business is a people's business. So your communication skills are so, so important. That's why we could talk for hours on this topic. We could do a 15-hour training course on communication skills alone. And of course, we can't teach everything in 1 hour. So I'm going to try to share some very important and very practical things for your business. But I would highly encourage you, if you want to be a great leader, if you want to have a huge business, to invest your time and sometimes a little bit of money in order to study communication. I'd highly recommend you read one of the legendary books, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is a book that has been a thing of legends. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, I would recommend you to read Influence by Robert Cialdini. Again, another amazing book about communicating with people, about influencing people through the way you communicate and the things that you do. But today, I've got some great stuff prepared for you. And hopefully by the end of this lesson, you'll have some practical things that you can use in your business when you talk to your customers, when you talk to your team members. So, what's our goal for today? By the end of this training, you will communicate clearly without sounding pushy. You will build trust faster in one-to-one and group conversations. You will inspire action instead of creating pressure. You will master storytelling that attracts, engages, and converts people to customers and team members. And you will know exactly how to apply all of this to your MLM business. Because quite often, when we learn about communication skills, it is not network marketing specific. So I will try today to take that information and apply to your network marketing business. So you actually know how to actually use it to make more money, and to have a more successful business. So, our first part, we're going to focus on communication skills for network marketing. Now, you may say, well, why communication is everything in this business? Well, you don't sell products, you don't recruit people, you transfer belief. Like Zig Ziglar used to say, sale is nothing more than a transfer of feeling. That means if I want to sell you my product, all I have to do is make you feel what I feel about this product. If I want to recruit you into my business, I want to make you feel the way I feel about this business. And then there will be no question. You will want to buy or join. So your communication, as you can imagine, is very important, because that's how you transfer that belief. That's how you transfer that feeling, through things that you say and do. So people join people they trust, people they understand, and people who make them feel seen and heard. So that is the task for your communication skills. To gain that trust, to relate to other people, so they can say, oh, me too. I also think like that. I also feel like that. And also to make them feel seen and heard, so that they're not just a number in your downline, in your bank account. So communication equals trust plus clarity plus emotion. That is our task for today. Now, let's start from the biggest mistake. Most network marketers over-explain, sound very scripted, talk too much, focus on product features and not what product does, and they try to convince. I remember I heard one leader say that we get so excited about our product or business that we talk and talk and talk, and we sell the product or the business. But we don't stop talking, and then we talk and talk and talk, and then we buy the business back. So we have to learn how to listen more and talk less. That's why we have one mouth and two ears. And we have to learn to give the information that the person needs to get, instead of giving them all the information. Because very often we give too much unnecessary information. So what do top leaders do? They ask good questions. They listen deeply, trying to understand the person. They speak very simply, and they inspire curiosity, so that the person is asking for more, so that the person wants to find out more, instead of saying, oh my gosh, that's too much information. So there's this saying that confused mind always says no. So if in your communication you confuse the person, you will never sell. If you confuse the person, you'll never recruit. Because they cannot make a decision if they are confused, if they don't understand, if it's too complicated. So, if your explanation is very complicated, people freeze, people avoid making a decision, and people delay. When your communication is confusing, you will get a lot of objections like, I need to think about it. I need to speak to somebody about this first. I need some time. What this shows is that the person is trying to slow down the buying process. They're trying to slow down the decision making because they're confused, because they are not clear. So, your message must pass the 10-year-old test. Would a 10-year-old understand your business if you explain them? Would a 10-year-old understand your product if you explain them in the words that you're currently using? So, example, a difficult way to say it. Our company uses a patented cellular optimization formula. Whew. No idea what that means. Very complicated. Now, the same thing we could say, this product helps your body produce more natural energy without caffeine crashes. It's the same thing, but explained in a way that a normal person would understand it. So, very good tip, use less jargon. Use less difficult words. Use less science and more words that people will understand. You will sell more this way because they will understand clearly what's the benefit. So, simple structure for clear communication, especially when you have one-to-one conversations. What you want to be is less of a salesperson and more of a consultant. So when you're talking to somebody, instead of just trying to sell them something, you should aim to find out what do they actually need. So good questions are, what is your situation right now? What would you like to improve? What have you tried already? Would you be open to look at something different? And we can apply this both to product and to business. This conversation could be about health. What is your health situation right now? What would you like to improve in your health? What products have you already tried for your health? And would you be open to take a look at different products? Or this could be a conversation about business. Where are you right now? What job do you have? Do you like your job? Does it pay enough? What would you like to improve? What would you like to change if you could? Have you tried sales? Have you tried starting your own business? Would you be open to take a look at my business opportunity? You understand? We can use this in any situation. But this way, who's talking the most? The prospect is talking more than you are. And when the prospect is talking, you're learning all the necessary information in order to give them an offer. So the golden rule in communication, in business communication, Be interested, not interesting. Be interested, not interesting. Very often we think that we have to have a huge charisma. We have to be funny. We have to be entertaining. We have to be so interesting. But the reality is, your prospect doesn't really care about that. What your prospect cares about is you listening to them, because nobody else does. And when you listen to them, when you show interest, when you ask questions, it shows that you care. It shows that they are important. And that's when they want to buy. That's when they trust you. That's when they want to join your team. So important that you really grab this. So this creates respect, curiosity, and permission to offer. You see, if I know nothing about you and I say, buy my product, join my team, you will say, how dare you? You know nothing about me and you're trying to push something onto me. But if I ask questions and you tell me that you hate your job, and now I offer you my business, it's natural because you almost asked for that information. If you tell me you have a health problem and I offer you a product that solves that health problem, it feels natural. It feels like you gave me permission to offer you that, because now I've got that information. So how not to sound pushy? Pushy language sounds like this. You should buy this. You should join my team. You need to buy this product. You need to make more money. This is perfect for you. This type of language assumes too much, tries to squeeze the person. And there is this saying that people love to buy, but they hate to be sold. We all love to buy things. Who loves to buy things? But we don't really enjoy when somebody really tries to sell us something, right? When you go into a shop and an assistant comes up, says, "Can I help you?" What do you say? "No, thanks. I'm just looking." Right? Don't try to sell me nothing. And then 5 minutes later, you look for that assistant because you can't find what you wanted. Attractive language, on the other hand, asks for permission. Like, would you be open to taking a look at something like that? Does this sound interesting for you? How does that feel to you? Do you see an opportunity in this for you? Can you see how this product could solve that problem? This is more of a friendly communication, not just trying to sell them. Pressure closes people, but curiosity opens them. And quite often, if you try to push them to buy something, they have what is called buyer's remorse, where next day they think, I made a mistake. If you force somebody to join your business, very often they change their mind a few days later because they felt under pressure. But when you create this curiosity and they decide to buy, they decide to join the business, then their decision is very strong because it came from them, not from you. So you want to be confident when you present your product, when you present your business, but you don't want to come across as arrogant. So few things that build your confidence is belief in the product, belief in the business system, and belief in yourself. There is this saying that a bird who's sitting on a branch is confident not because he relies on the strength of the branch, but he relies on the strength of its wings. Even if the branch breaks, he can still fly away. Same way, when you're presenting your product, your business, and yourself, you have to be sure. Because if you don't believe inside, people will feel that. You have to sell you first, 100%. So that's why you want to study about the product. You want to study about the business. You want to invest in yourself through personal development in order to be so sure, so confident that nobody can shake your belief. If the belief is weak, communication is weak. People feel that energy. So work daily on product education, personal development, success stories in your company. Become a collector of product stories where people got a result with a product, and business stories where people achieved something in your business. Collect as many of those stories because it will strengthen your belief and you will be able to share those stories with others. So we have 3 levels of communication. First level is information. Second level is emotion. Third level is identity. Let me show you how we use each. Most people stay at level 1. Top leaders, they use level 3. So level 1 would be this product boosts your metabolism. That's information. Level 2, you will feel more energetic. This is emotion, how you will feel, not just dry information. But level 3, you will feel confident wearing what you want again. This is now identity. I'm telling how you're gonna be after you use that product. What type of person you will be. Confidence, right? That's part of your identity. And that is the most powerful. Identity sells. So how can you build trust fast, even with complete strangers? What you can use is something that is called REAL method. And each letter stands for something. So R stands for relate. Find a common ground. Look for similarities between you and your prospect. Maybe you both have children. Maybe you both are single moms. Maybe you both like football, whatever, right? Or maybe you both been struggling with that problem for a long time. Second letter is E for empathize, which means show understanding. Show that you hear them. Third letter is A, which stands for ask, which means ask curious questions. Get the information out of them. And I've already shared with you the questions, right? How is your life right now? What have you tried in the past? What would you like to improve? Right? Those type of questions. And then the last letter is L for listen. And it says actively. Some of you may have heard of active listening. Active listening means you don't just listen to the person, but you encourage them. Simply by saying, tell me more about that. Oh, when you say that, what do you mean? You dig deeper. You let the person expand. And then you reflect back to them. So what I hear you say, Veronica, is you want to do this, that, and the other because of that reason. Is that right? So it shows that, wow, this person is actually listening to me. They're actually hearing what I'm saying. They're not just waiting for me to shut up so they can sell me their product. That is next level, guys. 99% of people don't do that. They just want to sell their stuff. They just want to recruit you into their team. Trust is built when people feel heard. One of my early mentors said, every person you meet, imagine that they have a board hanging on their chest. And on that board is written, make me feel important. Imagine if every person you speak to, whether that's on social media or face-to-face, you try to make them feel important. Not brag about yourself, not show off, but make them feel important. You cannot believe how that changes everything in your business. From customers to team members, to leaders, to company representatives. So that was one-to-one. Now, if we are in a group communication, how can we do that? Well, when speaking in team calls or events, you can also improve your communication. First tip, always speak to one person. Even if you're speaking to 50 people, speak to one person. Not, hey everyone. No, today I will share with you this and this tip. Speak like you're speaking to your best friend. Use names. So when you're doing your training, you can use people's names. Did you notice that I've already used Veronica's name? And I might use Adrian's name. And I might use Miklos's name. And I might use Katerina's name in the training. So they feel, oh, I'm part of this thing now. Ask engaging questions. Don't just speak the whole time. Ask them to participate. Did you notice that sometimes in my lesson, I say, well, if you do that, if you feel that, put 5 in the comments. I ask you for communication in some shape or form. Or when we had a live training in Düsseldorf, I get to engage with you. Of course, it's easier when it's live than when it's a Zoom. and share stories. We'll learn about stories in just a moment. Repeat key ideas so people notice that, so people fixate on that. Repetition creates belief. So inspire action, not pressure. Pressure sounds sign up before midnight. Inspiration is imagine where you could be 12 months from now if you started today. That paints a picture. Pressure triggers fear. Inspiration triggers vision. Well, they go, "Whoa, I can't wait for that." Okay, so that's the first part. Drop a 5 in the comments if that was useful. If maybe you heard something new about communication skills. Good, 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 good. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right, I can see some 5s. Good job. Some people are still awake. Okay, then part 2 of this training today, we're going to talk about storytelling. And storytelling is so powerful. Think about it. When you were a little girl or a little boy, what did your parents read for you in the evening? Did they read Financial Times? Or did they read stories? So our brain is naturally adapted to accept information in a story format. Since we were cavemen, we learned through stories. Before we could write books, everything was passed in a story format. So people are very well adapted to receive information in story format. People remember stories more than they remember facts and figures. So that's why they say facts tell, but stories sell. Oops, we've got somebody's mic on. Ona, turn off your microphone. Thank you very much. So people don't remember compensation plans. People don't remember product ingredients. People don't remember technical details. But they remember struggles. They remember turning points. They remember transformation. That's why we go to a conference, we hear a leader's story, and years later, we still remember that story that the leader told us. But we forgot how the commission is calculated. We forgot how many milligrams of that ingredient is in that product. Because that information just goes in one ear, goes out the other ear. So 4 most powerful story types are a personal story, a client story, a transformation story, and a belief story in network marketing. If you master these 4 stories, your content will never feel empty again. Whether you're speaking at an event or you're writing a post, it will be interesting. So first one is personal story. And the structure of that story should be, what was your life like before? What was the struggle? What was the pain? Then what decision you made? And how your life looks after. So an example. Before, I was exhausted and working 10 hours a day. I had no time for the family. Struggle. But then, decision. I started this business part-time. And after, now I control my schedule. Now I was able to quit my job. And the same could be with the product. Before I had this health problem, I couldn't enjoy my life, but then I decided to try this product, and now I feel much better. Right? You can use this format. And you can use these stories in your lives. You can use them in recruitment calls, Zooms. You can use them in events when you're speaking live. Always share your story, especially at the business presentation, especially at the product demonstration, especially at a party at somebody's home. You should always use your stories. The second story is client story. So the structure of a client story, again, is a very similar structure. A problem, doubt, action, result. So she didn't believe she could lose weight at 42 years old, but after 8 weeks, she lost 5 kilograms. So there's a problem, obesity or overweight. She didn't believe she could do it. Then she took the action, used the product, and she got a result. Now, doubt here is very useful because very often your potential client is doubting, or you're trying to recruit somebody and they're doubting. They're not sure. They're scared. So when you tell your story and you say, I wasn't sure, I was scared, I thought, no way could this work. But then I did it, and look how my life looks now. That person says, wow, they're like me, because I'm doubting, because I'm not sure, because I'm scared. That makes you relatable. And again, you can use this in your social media posts, in testimonials, in sales conversations. It will encourage people. Number 3 is a transformation story. So here we focus on identity shift. Instead of saying, look, she lost 10 kilograms, we say she went from hiding in photos behind other people to leading a wellness group, to being proud of herself, to wearing that dress that was hanging in her cupboard for 10 years, that it was always too small. Transformation equals identity change. How is that person different now? Same in the business. We can say, oh, wow, look at Zoe. She made 10,000 euros, which is good. But much better is look at Zoe. She's now confident. She has now meaning in her life. She is now a leader that helps other people. Now it's not just money. Now it's identity. And number 4 is belief story. This is really good to break objections when people resist. So, example, I used to think network marketing was a scam. And then you share what changed your mind, what you discovered, why you believe now. It's so powerful in recruiting and in selling. It could be, I used to think food supplements were a scam. I used to think for a supplement to be good, it had to be sold in a pharmacy. And then you explain what you know now. What changed your mind? Because the chances are your prospect is thinking exactly the same thing. So, story structure formula for high engagement. 1, use a hook to get them interested, to get them listening. Share a struggle, a problem, a pain, then turning point, the change, then a lesson learned, and then, of course, call to action, invitation to buy, to join. So, example, hook. 3 years ago, I almost quit. Struggle. I had 0 recruits. Turning point. I changed how I communicated with people. Lesson. I realized that skills matter more than motivation. Invitation. If you're struggling, message me. I'll teach you. Simple formula. We could use the same thing for the product. Really, really engaging, interesting for people. This can be a video. It can be a written text. So how can we apply this stuff on social media? Write short paragraphs. Even if you have a long story, split it. Make gaps between paragraphs. It's easier to read. Use emotional language. Think about it. If somebody reads this text, will they feel the feeling? Will they feel the emotion? And give a clear lesson and a soft call to action. If you're curious, let me know. If you'd like to learn more, just drop a comment below. But don't overshare trauma. Don't brag. Don't sound desperate, because that repels people. People run away from that. So a good rule, share from scars, not from wounds. Share from scars, not from wounds. What does that mean? Don't share while you're very emotional about it. Share after you learn the lesson. Because if you're sharing from that strong emotion, it will come across as desperate. But when you share from learning, the emotion will be very different. Your role is to be a leader, not a victim. We all seen those people on social media who are complaining, who are cursing other people, who are throwing dirt at other people. It's not tasty. It doesn't really position you as a mentor, as a leader. So, simple story plan for 30 days. Week 1, share personal stories. Week 2, client stories. Week 3, belief stories. Week 4, transformation stories. And then repeat monthly with new angles, with new products, with new people. And you can recycle, recycle, recycle. Consistency builds authority. Just because you shared that story once doesn't mean that everybody saw it. If you have 1,000 friends on Facebook and you share a post, maybe 50 will see it, maybe 100, but definitely not all 1,000. So every time you share it again, other people will see it. Advanced tip, story in sales calls. So instead of answering objections directly, for example, prospect says, I would not have time to build this business. You might say, can I share a quick story with you? And then you tell them a story of somebody who also didn't have time, but made it work. That's why you need to be a collector of stories. Because then you have a story for every objection. Somebody says, I don't have money. You say, let me tell you a story about this person who had no money. Or I have 3 small children. Oh, I understand. Can I tell you a story about this lady who had 5 small children and became very successful? People will relate more to the story than if you say, no, 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 that's not a problem. Because then you're just arguing with them. Stories lower resistance, lower the barrier. So, before we wrap up, before we finish, few reflection questions for yourself. Do people feel energized after speaking to me? Do I talk more than I listen? Am I explaining or inspiring? And do I use stories daily in my business? These questions will make you do inventory of your business. And finally, before we go to homework, communication is not just about talking. It's about transferring belief to another person, making them feel what you feel. Storytelling is not about impressing. It is about connecting with another human being. Because that connection is the most important thing if you want to sell and build a team. When you master both of these, your business grows faster naturally because you get more return from the work you put in. So, homework. The Story Refinement Challenge. Step 1, record yourself. Record a 3 to 5 minute video answering, why did you start this business? What problem were you trying to solve in your life? What has changed since then? Don't script it, just speak naturally. Then watch it back and ask yourself, was I clear? Did I repeat myself? Did I talk too long before making a point? Did I sound confident? Did I inspire or explain? And write down 3 things you could improve. Then step 2, simplify your message. Now rewrite your story using this structure. Hook, powerful opening. Struggle, what wasn't working. Decision, what changed. Result, what improved. And lesson, what others can learn from your story. Limit to 90 seconds. Ooh, for some of you, you want to speak for 15 minutes. Your goal? Clear, simple, emotional. Touch their heart. Step 3, test in real life. Use your refined story in one-to-one conversations, team call, social media post. After each use, reflect. Did people lean in or pull back? Did they ask questions? Were they curious? Did it feel natural? or a bit fake? Did it create curiosity? If nobody asks questions, it was too informational. If people ask how, that means it created impact. And then step 4, improve delivery. Practice slowing down your speech. Practice pausing after important sentences. Speaking 10% louder than you normally speak. Removing filler words like like, you know, we call them parasites in your language. Professional communicators control the pace. When they want, they speak faster. When they want, they slow down. When they want, they speak very loud. Or sometimes they really quiet down to catch your attention. Confidence is often through slower speech. Because when you're nervous, you try to rush. You try to speak very fast. And bonus challenge, advanced. Send your story video to 3 team members and ask them for critique, for feedback. What part was strongest? Where did you lose interest? What emotion did you feel? Leaders grow faster because they seek feedback. They don't just wait for the applause. They say, what could I have done better? What could I improve? So thank you very much. That is our training for today. Picture time before we go into questions and answers. Let's everybody turn on your cameras. Let's do a picture. All right,
Yes,
all right.
please, everyone, let's open cameras. Smile, don't forget, and reactions. We love these pictures with lots of hearts, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't worry, I've got no makeup on either, so it's fine.
Okay.
There you go. How many beautiful people? Come on, come on, come on, guys. Yes, yes, yes. I can see more people opening cameras. Well done, well done, well done. There you go, Mehmet. I can see you. Ivan, how's it going? Nice to see you. All right, Johannes, Genovite, Maria. Wow, how many nice people here. Okay, 3, 2, 1, cheese. Fantastic, fantastic. And now, let's open up for questions and answers.
Yes, I will be helping with the reading chat. So please ask your questions about everything about this topic. I think this topic was very, very fruitful and very necessary for each communicator, for even not distributor, but a person who wants to be a leader, who wants to be to have a success in life. So this was extremely necessary topic. Yes, please write your questions in the chat.
Wow, we've got somebody from Peru. Nice to see
Yeah.
you, lad.
Yes, we have invited all our markets, those who speak English, those who do not speak English, but can understand and use our Wordly translation app. So even, yeah, from Latin America. Yeah.
Amazing.
And I believe also from Africa, you can also write down in the chat where you're from. So we can also check
Yes.
who will join next training, because yes, but I will talk about this a bit later. Please write down your questions now, because now this is a Q&A session.
Yes, 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 absolutely. There's no stupid questions. All the questions are important. So if you've got a question, write it down. Wow, we have the whole world here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think mostly everyone needs to, yes, to dig into their heads and memory and find out which kind of questions they would like to ask.
For
And
sure.
if you have, yes, if you have any questions, you can send to us and we will send immediately to Gediminas. I think we can.
Yeah, and I can see a question about recording. So yes, everybody will get a recording and a copy of these slides.
Yes, yes. We are sending all recordings and copy of these slides to your country managers, to your branch offices, as well as I will send them tomorrow via your emails directly as well, for those who registered to this training. Oh,
And
I see the question.
yeah,
I can read. Thank you so much for delivering this topic. This is my priority topic. Although we already have within this training system, it is still something that someone can improve. So my question is regarding my team, how to motivate people from our teams.
yeah. So, you know, I remember I heard one leader say that motivation is like manipulation, is trying to make people do something they don't want to do because you want them to do it. Inspiration is better because when you inspire people, you inspire them to do something they want to do. But how can you know what they want to do? Again, we come back to communication skills and to questions. So before we try to motivate our team, we need to know what motivates them. So that's why best thing we can do is speak to each person individually and find out what is their why, what is their driver, what is their motivation. Because somebody might be motivated by money. Another person will be motivated by helping people. Another person will be motivated by traveling. And another person by spending time with their family. You understand what I'm saying? Not everybody is the same. So best way to motivate somebody is to find out about their dreams, their goals, and then to show them how their dreams and goals can become reality using TIENS business, using TIENS products. Then you are inspiring them to do what they want to do instead of trying to motivate them to do what you want them to do, but they don't really want to do it.
Let me read one more question. Thank you so much for the answer. Is asking questions enough to foster sincerity in communication?
You know, not everybody will be very open, right? Like some people, they just talk and talk and talk. Other people, you have to pull them one word after another, right? So not everybody will be very communicative. But if we really show interest and we show that we really care, most people open up. But sometimes I might say, well, Serap, what are your goals and dreams? And you say, I don't know. I never thought about it. So then I might ask something like, if you would win €1 million in lottery, what would you do first? And you might say, well, if I won €1 million in lottery, I'd buy my parents a new home. Bingo. Now I'm getting your dreams. Even though you don't think it's realistic, because you will never win a lottery, but what you're sharing is your values, is what's important to you, right? So now by asking these questions, I can learn what's important to Serap. And then I can say, well, I don't know about winning a lottery, but would you like me to show you how to make that dream into reality using this business.
So one more question. I think this will be the last question. How do we reach new people? How should communication and getting acquainted begin?
Again, sometimes I say it and people are like, what? Forget that you do network marketing business. Forget that you're trying to sell products. Forget that you're trying to build a team. Imagine that you are just looking for new friends. And whether you meet somebody face to face, in the gym, in the church, in the shopping mall, or you meet somebody on social media, don't try to sell them as soon as possible. Don't try to recruit them as soon as possible. Try to become friends first. And if you wanted to become friends with somebody, how would you do that? You would start by asking some questions and looking for similarities, right? You'd say, hi, how are you? Where are you from? How long you been living there? What do you do for a living? Do you like that job? How long you been doing that? Are you married? Do you have children? How old are your children? What do you like to do on your free time? What do you do on holidays? Do you have hobbies? You understand? It's like when you meet somebody at a party, you start chatting with them. Oh, the weather is horrible, right? And how about that basketball game? Oh my God. Right? You start looking for commonalities. You start looking for how to start this conversation. What can we talk about? And once you got into that conversation, then you can start transitioning onto the product or onto the business. Very often, when you talk to the person, they'll say something like, oh, I really hate my job. My boss, oh my gosh. But I'm just doing it now because I have to pay the bills. Because you said that, I'd love to share with you an opportunity. Maybe you would like to do that more than your job. Or you speak to them and they say, oh, my children are always sick. As soon as they go back to school, they get sick again and again. We're sitting at home for 2 weeks. Bingo. They just shared with you something that maybe you could solve that problem. So if you talk to a person and show interest, naturally you'll find ways to introduce your product and your business. Sometimes they'll just ask back, what do you do for a living? And then you can tell them.
Thank you so much. I see no questions in the chat. So I would like to say thank you, Gediminas, for one more very fruitful training, for this great insights, for your great experience, and for sharing all this with us. And now this is my great pleasure to share with you the information about our next lesson. And our next lesson will be dedicated to public speaking and presenting. Not less important training topic, lesson topic. So we invite everyone next month on the 12th of March, Thursday, to this online session. And once again, I would like to say thank you to Gediminas, to say thank you to all our translators, to our technical team, which supports us and provides us with everything you need for our online sessions. Thank you so much. And whom I haven't forgotten? Of course, I have forgotten our participants who join us today with these from multiple countries. We saw from Latin America, we saw from USA, from Europe, from Turkey, from everywhere. So our multiple national lesson is over, but see you all next time. Check your emails for the training recordings and materials, and also for the links to the next training, to the next lesson. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great evening, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, Peru and South America. Yeah, great. Happy to see you here in Europe. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.